Hello and welcome back to Megan TT Hobbies. This is in-person recap number 2 for the 2025 season. This time we head to Springfield, Missouri, Double A of the St. Louis Cardinals. This was towards the end of May after my boys had wrapped up school. We tried to get to a couple games, and like most of the spring, it was raining. We rained out one night, and then we did get to see the game the next night. So we only got to see one game this time. Um, it was versus they were playing Northwest Arkansas. Sorry, I was looking at my list. And so with Northwest Arkansas, they are the Royals, Kansas City Royals, Double A. So they go Quad Cities for Kansas City, and then to Northwest Arkansas. Um, Interesting enough, the hotel that we stay at 90% of the time in Springfield, the team actually started using it, the opposing team. So, like, we walked in and there was like a welcome, Northwest Arkansas, to this hotel. So, interestingly enough, the night that it rained out, we were downstairs in the little food area, and we got like an appetizer, and I let my boys get like a soda or something, and their team was like eating all this food there for dinner since it had rained out. So that was that was interesting. I don't do autographs at hotels, but it was just interesting to see. So yeah, Northwest Arkansas, late May. I will talk about them a little bit more when we get to them. But Springfield, we know a lot of these guys. Andrew Romero did some customs for me that I had for last year, and then I just didn't get them signed by him at the end of the season. So I got him some copies of those. But these are like leftover from 2024. He's always a great center. It was awesome to see Austin Love back from Tommy John. So he'd been gone for a while, so I had all sorts of stuff. And normally he would have hit like 2 or 3 in Peoria, but he knew we were needing a lot from, or wanting a lot since he had been out. So these are some team set ones that I need. Bryson Mounts, for some reason, I don't know, he must like push really hard when he's signing. They always like smudge or kind of blur a little bit, but he's the only guy I think that it happens with, and I prepped these quite well. He kind of picked and chose this year what he signed. Like, normally it was one of like each kind, but no dupes. But he had an awesome season. I think we're gonna see him in the bigs before too long. Chase Davis was nice. We have some cool Chase Davis stories as the season goes on. So I forget if like I feel like one of my kiddos might have gotten one of those. Dakota Harris, and then these are big ones. We got JJ Weatherholt. So that was huge because I think that's the only time I think that we saw him, because we didn't get back to Springfield until early July, because my boys had a couple trips in June. So that was huge to be able to get some super nice guy. We got him, he had parked kind of behind in like a closed off parking lot, and so he actually then stopped when he got to the normal parking lot area driving through and signed for us. At this point, Josh Baez had gotten a well deserved promotion to Springfield, Leonardo Bernal, who I feel like is going to be a great catcher in the bigs for us. It's always nice about hitting a lot. Max, I think it's Rajicic at the time, was still with Springfield. And then we are buddies with Noah Menlinger, one of the nicest guys out there when it comes to baseball players. So we always make like a bazillion customs for him. And so there's just this whole sequence where he scored on this play, and he was like super excited about it. So we had to make all sorts of like customs for it and different versions. Osvaldo Barrios, one of the pitchers, nice guy. I made a custom for him. Pete Hansen, he's another one that he'll hit, like a few for us. In this case, he actually did some duplicates. Just had a random Ryan Duffy, who's the strength and conditioning coach now. This one is in here. I think one of my boys might have gotten that signed by Tink. He definitely had a very disappointing season this year. We'll see if he can hopefully bounce back next year and stay well. Wade Stouse on prior year. Zane Mills, another one of our buddies, so we always find random cards. So let's get to Northwest Arkansas. Easily the worst signing team that we saw all season. We saw them for 3 games, I think. So we did get lucky. We got a couple Gavin Crosses. I think my youngest might have gotten that, and he wanted me to have it because he knew I needed it for my set. So one time he did sign, so I had gotten that signed. I did a number of customs that I thought turned out pretty good. Jack Padina was actually one of the nicer guys. Henry Williams is really nice. We had seen him through the San Diego organization. Ben Kudrin. One of these days, maybe we'll get this duel. Shane Panzini had gotten the recent call-up, so I pulled his stuff real quick. He hit those 3. Larry Carter, their pitching coach, did a couple 2 out of 3 for me. Hunter Owen on the chrome. He is definitely hard to get. Andy LaRoche did a couple for us, and then this is a Kyle Hayes custom. There were guys that just kind of flat out ignored. Our biggest shocker was probably Spencer Nevins ignored, and he did that every time we saw him. He played at Missouri State there in Springfield, so we thought he was be a good signer. I think I even had 8 on a page for him. He just ignored all the time. Carter Jensen said he would sign after, then he ignored after, so they were an interesting team this year, and we had seen them all with Quad Cities, and they were great for the most part then. Their manager is Brooks Conrad, which you'll see later in some cards that we got signed by him. So that is it. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.